Okay, my name is Ettienne. My surname is Kies, and I'm an artist. We got the stall here, and my colleague and my mentor is Uncle Willem Havenga. He's sitting on that side. You guys probably going to see him just now. So yeah, the question was, where were we when the COVID thing started? We were right here. What happened was, there's a couple of vendors here, and there's a massive container, 9-meter container, and it's storage for all of us, and there weren't enough storage for our stuff, so we had to sleep here for 2 months under a cover protecting our stuff. And it was really actually hard because of like the whole lane, the whole of the city suddenly became a ghost town, and we actually eventually had to put a poster on that says like, no food, no income, we need support. And I promise that very few, only 3 people in 2 months actually gave us support, but like God has been good, and we moved to the mountain, and from there a couple came and they took us off the streets, and we stayed in warmer state eventually for the winter. So.
And how has it been since the beginning of lockdown until now? Has things gotten better?
Well, it had an effect on different effects on different people. Like, in our case, we were hit hard because we had no income. We had a legit permit, but we weren't compensated, because when we went to the local government, to every office possible, and then everybody just shook their heads like, we don't know. I think that was the norm of the day, like, they don't know. So for 8 months we were unemployed, we had no income whatsoever, but luckily this couple that helped us, they bought us food every month. And in the meantime, when it was closed for the lockdown to come to a standstill sort of thing, and then we found that all our stock got destroyed because we stored it in that thing over there. Mm-hmm. So you guys can take a photo of that later. And so luckily again, these people, they gave us money, and we had to produce brand new stuff. We had to replace the table and everything, and then we only started the end of November, never? Yeah. The end of November. In the beginning it was really slow, but what I found is that like a lot of people want to come have a story, and they think the tourists are our main supporters, but it's absolutely not. It's actually quite sad. 1 out of every bus stopping here when it's tourist season, when they actually come into the country, every 2 minutes there's buses stopping. Like they're actually queuing, like, So there's plus minus about 200 tour guides, or not even more. They come in, they stop at this musician here, and then they just goom past us and goom come down again. What I'm trying to say is that like there's only one girl that bring a whole group here. Now, if the tourism can organize that these people should visit stalls like ours, because we make our own stuff here every single day, and we make amazing stuff. And the question is, what do you define as African? Because a lot of foreigners are looking for African stuff. I'm Cape Townian. He is Cape Townian. He is from Joburg. But our style it's African, but it's a different. I'm not a black person, so my style wouldn't be like more African. Ours is more commercial, Willem. And it's actually quite sad. If only maybe like a third of all these tour guides can just bring the people here, because the direction board is right next to us. And what happened is, you can tell when people are really interested in, because a lot of them listen to them, and a lot of them is at the table, and they really want to buy things. But when you get to that point, and the tour guide just like call them, like, and some are very rude actually. So we have a big problem with our tourism, especially our tour guides and these companies that don't support local entrepreneurs. And I promise you, if you go around the government building in Long Street, corner of Well and Long, there's a lot of shutters, and our social economic development department, they put these guys on a course, and then eventually they get a year term to stay in one of those things. No tourists, tour guides take their people there, and I've walked past them many a times, and I promise you, there's so much creative talent in this Cape Town. Our city has changed. Like, I don't even remember Green Market Square, the center square. It used to be colored black. It used to be a mixture of everything. In those days, it was a place to go. Then nowadays, it's like a syndicate that's taking over market. And the big question is why. That's the second problem we have, is why does the city allow our streets, our every single store you go to is like a foreign person. Now, how the hell do they get that right? But in the meantime, a lot of people of color, a lot of South Africans come to the stable and ask, where can they open a store? So that's another question mark, right? But we were here and times were tough.
What was
Right.
your biggest fears during that time?
The biggest fear, probably food, no, Willem?
Yeah.
Probably like just food, like, and the other thing is like, there wasn't a single person that they given sanitizers, gloves, masks to, even up till now. The government hasn't done that. There was going to be food parcels. People knew about us being here. And our biggest, we were starving at times. There were times in Willem when we went to, with these heart condition, and I mean, I'm also in medicine. I need to eat. But at least we could eat like something every day. You know, my biggest fear actually was the rats, because they forgot about the squirrels and the birds and everything, because they all came here. There was like a squirrel gathering here, like wanting food, because like, no, how could they forget about the biggest attraction in Cape Town, if you know what I'm saying? So our biggest fear was like, how are we going to make it through the 8 months? Because there's no compensation, there's no income, there's no family support as well, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it was tough. I wish I had a photo to show you with a little boat, and I never thought I was going to do that in my life, putting like, what did you say, Willem? No food, no income, yeah, and no form of support, something like that. Yeah.
What happened to the board?
It's up in the mountain, because we moved to the mountain far up with the, you know where the fountain is?
Yes, yes.
So we were a group of 9 people and 9 tents. So the law enforcement knew about it. Now, they knew about it, and they said that the captain said, like, fine, as long as you guys don't grow. Because we were organized. We had our bonfire, we had the tents, and we had food, because there were people that actually sponsored us enough food. And this American lady, God bless her, she South African, and she stayed in America for 2 years, so she moved back. But she became the mom figure, and she's the one that actually spent a lot of money seeing that we eat properly.
Yeah.
And then suddenly one day the park ranger came there, one of the supervisors. The next day law enforcement came with the park rangers, and we had to kaboom down. And that upsets me, because like, you work for the same company, but like the one does that and the other one does that, if you know what I'm saying. And then we moved to Riebeek Park, Willem. Yeah, I come from the platteland, so I grew up in the veld, and so I saw a thorn bush. You know where the Oates is up there?
Yeah.
No, and there's a ravine, but there was a big thorn bush, so somebody has just cut out a hole in it. And I told Willem, I think we should move in here. So we had the big sailor, and then we made it a bit bigger, and we put the sail and then our tent in, and we covered completely. And then there was loose thorn branches lying around, and we, you know, like in the black villages, no? Where they have these fences, and then we built like those fences, even a door with a thorn tree thing. So we were really protected. And then this couple came, and thank God, like the whole winter, because if we were going on the street last winter, Willem was probably going to be dead, like really, with his condition and stuff. And then and then they decided to not support us anymore, which means that the first November, December was a little bit tough. But thank God for all the local supporters. Our business is growing, and 95% is local. And there's something we're doing right. So, and we cater for them, and thanks to them, like, they support every day. At the moment, cash flow is a bit tight. Like we have 1 or 2 sales every day, but it's just enough to survive. If you know what I'm saying. So yeah. And then the moment we're homeless, we're back on the street again because of the whole COVID thing. It's not a nice feel, and we're just praying every day that there will be somebody that actually has got a old garage he doesn't use, or maybe the government has got one of these houses that they have is standing empty for many years that we can utilize, because we got to give back. And in order for us to produce and to sell things, we need a stable environment where there's light, where we can actually work nighttime and things like that, you know. Yeah.